Guys, what made you realize, this girl is definitely not into me? I asked for her number and she offered to give me her email address instead. Went to her apartment. Then I helped her with Tinder. Closed responses to leading or intuitive chatter, e.g., just saying yes, no, not really, etc. when asked questions that could easily lead to more conversation. My roommate encouraged me to ask this girl out. He said she really liked me, so I ask her out and set a dinner date. I pick her up and at dinner, she barely responds to me. I ask questions about her major, her family, etc. and all I get back are short answers and no follow-up. I'm frustrated and she's unhappy and I guess we both look miserable when the waitress tells us that we need to perk up and be happy. She then asks how long we've been dating. Her face falls when I tell her this is the first date. She goes oh, and walks away and doesn't really talk to us again. After dinner, we were supposed to go to a friend's house who was having a party, but I look at her in the car and say, look, obviously neither one of us had a good time. Instead of going to the party, why don't I take you back to your dorm? She said yeah, and that was it. I went back to my roommate furious and asked him why he thought she had a crush on me. He said he thought she would once she got to know me. Yeah, well she didn't. We spent the day together, slept together. She told me she loved me, then f***ed her coworker at her Christmas party that evening. At a bar with some friends, my boy John starts trying to chat up this girl and her friends. I approach and try to wingman. This girl makes hard eye contact and says, well, it was great meeting you guys. I, of course, say likewise and drag off John to go explain to his dumbass how to recognize when girls are politely telling you to f*** off. She kept talking about how she needed more commitment from me. Relationship had turned long distance. I was paying for the travel and doing the majority of the traveling. I was the one that had moved away. Sustained it for about a year, but I just realized that she wasn't into me enough to take what she perceived as a risk in moving 5-hour drive away from her family. Never spoke about her needing to show commitment to me. Think what finally did it was when she got a raise to similar to what I was making and I brought up her starting to contribute to the travel costs. And she laughed like it was a joke. I clarified I was serious and she brushed it off. Nope, I'm out. Stuck around longer than I should have. Was her first serious relationship, which in retrospect I think was a big factor in some of the immaturity. Asked a girl out and she said I can't, it's my girlfriend's and I 2-month anniversary. She is straight by the way. Not a guy. But I was in a club and wanted to go to the bathroom. He kept pulling me back into his lap. I tried to explain and he wouldn't listen, so I peed in his lap. I just assume by default that people do not like me. When they are nice and warm to me, I assume that's out of their courtesy. Oh snap. So, last fall I went to class and ran into this really cute girl and I thought, hey, I'm gonna try to talk to her more, and over the next 2 weeks I found 0 openings until we were told to get into groups for a project. Small class. But I wasn't in her group, so I asked her if it was cool if I joined her group because they seemed more serious than my other group. Bunch of losers. She said yes. So it was me, her best friend and another girl I'd talked to for a bit. We agreed to meet up on Friday at the library. We talked a bit more before then and became friends. She's really touchy, so she'd grab my arm, lean on me, etc. I thought she was into me. I show up early and she was there alone, so we began to talk and she's so much like me. Has a weird sense of humor, very smart, and super friendly. She even liked Dragon Ball. That's the dream. Then the other 2 girls arrive and I see her phone and her lock screen is of her best friend. The other girl comments are, your best friend's your lock screen. And she says nope, my girlfriend's my lock screen. So that really made me realize she totally wasn't interested in me at all. Funny thing is, we all are still really good friends. We've tried to take classes together and she's helped me out when I had trouble. I accidentally ruined her surprise birthday party. We hung out while we could. She'd buy us lunch, invite us to her place, and we really have a good time together. Those 3 girls are the best friends I've made in university. It's kinda sad, but before I went like 6 months without anyone in college saying my name or even talking to me. They weren't mean. They were just not my friends. But I met these girls and I have a friend network. I have a constant study group and she's even helping me lose weight because I couldn't do it on my own. She wasn't into me but I honestly couldn't care less. I'm way happier now than I was before I met her. So I was on one of the nightly FaceTime calls with this girl I was super into. Then at around 4 in the morning, she says that she is getting a call from someone and needed to answer. The next morning I see her Snapchat story of her on FaceTime with another guy. The next night I call her and she says she is already on call with someone and it turns out to be the same guy. We lost touch and I am pretty sure those two got together. When she told me so, I went out to a restaurant per bar with 4 buddies. Some ladies sent over a round of drinks to my 4 buddies. Unless the girl directly says to me I am into you, or some variation, I will assume, by default, that they are not into me. She said I'm not ready to be in a relationship, and proceeds to get into a relationship. Rip me. I hope she's happy though. I really do. When I accidentally let a fart slip as we got out of the car to her crib and then suddenly had to sleep in the guest room. I've heard them all. I like you as a friend. I think we should see other people. I know speak English. I'm married to the sea. I don't wanna kill you but I will. Back in college, I took a girl on a lunch date. We had a really nice time. When it was getting time to leave, I told her I had to get to work. She said, "Where do you work?" I said McDonald's and I literally could see her attitude shift in 1 second. Oh, cool. So as I'm driving her home, I said, "So can we hang out again?" She replies, "Yeah, totally." So the next day I text and ask if she wants to hang. She never responded. Stopped texting first and realized that she never texted me for 3 days. It was totally one-sided. An actual girlfriend ran this experiment and found that I didn't text her for a week. Some people are just shit, i.e., me. My boyfriend status didn't survive this experiment, but I learned from it. She really only talked to me when she needed something. Gave a girl at work my number on a piece of paper and she handed it right back and said, "We talk at work all the time so let's keep doing that." When she asked me if I knew if my friend was interested in anybody, I was only just starting to maybe have a crush on her so it didn't hurt. But definitely wasn't pleasant lol. When I feel like I have to constantly be the one that has to start the conversation, that it takes so long for them to answer, or worse that they sometimes don't answer at all, I can sometimes get the conversation going again in that last case. But if it happens 2 or 3 more times, I'm usually done. It's pretty clear to me. Other cases she shows a clear interest to someone else, or starts dating someone else, and this has happened to me so many times. I guess I'm not that good at online chatting, or not interesting at all, or that I don't know when it's time to be more direct. I didn't realize, until I asked her out. We had been talking and hanging out for a few months. She and I had matching personalities and we were both more energetic around each other than around others. I had a massive crush and I felt like taking a chance, so I told her I liked her. And she said, "Damn, I'm really sorry. I feel we're better off as friends." I guess I didn't realize she wasn't into me until she said as such. I moped for a while before finally being able to have a shit happens attitude towards it. Nowadays she's happily with someone. Our friendship has faded away, which is actually more upsetting than being rejected romantically. I'm still single, but I'm happily single, so it's alright. If I ever feel that feeling again, I will always take that risk. A close friend of several years who I had a bit of a crush on, had been single for a while, as had I. One day, she called me on the phone out of the blue and said, "I'm so horny. Want to drive up and we'll like bunnies?" Exclamation mark. Why, yes. Now that you mention it, yes I do, but she lived 5-hour drive away. Exclamation mark. And I had to work, so I worked. Then hopped into the car the next morning, drove up for a visit. We hugged, went straight to her bed, but I was getting less than a sense of full enthusiasm. Still, she seemed game. Then, as we just began to start a few kisses, hand under the shirt. She started crying. Now, here's a little hint to all you guys out there. If she starts to cry, she's not happy. So, naturally, I put the brakes on and say, hey, what's going on? And she's not into it. Yes, she's lonely, desperately lonely, but I'm a friend, not a potential lover. She likes me, but she's not into me that way. But here's the thing, she's still game to go through with it, because I drove 5 hours. After all, no chance. She's not into it. Then I'm not into it. We hugged, went out for dinner, had a great time. I slept on her couch for the next few days of the visit. Curiously, that same visit, she hooked me up with a friend of hers, who I dated happily for 6 months until the 5-hour commute wore it down. I told them I had feelings for them. They responded with, I'm dying. The teacher assigned my crush to dance with me. She screamed no and chose another guy. So this was our graduation trip, and it's the last day of it. It was compulsory that everyone chose a partner of the opposite sex to dance with. Me having a crush on her was quite well known in my class. So all of them, including my teacher, suggested that I dance with her, and of course she refused and chose another random dude. I had to find another girl from another class that I never even talked to. Feels so bad, man. We set up a date. She stood me up. When I asked her, she simply said she forgot. Pretty clear signals that she was. Until one random day she stopped replying to texts and pointedly started ignoring me. To this day I still don't know why. She found someone else. Asked her to senior prom. She said yes, but when we got there she ditched me to hang out with another guy she liked. Wasn't too bad though, cause I danced with another girl who I got along better with. Caught her making out with my manager. She pulled out a knife and tried to kill me.